Hi, my name is Sally Bernard, an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer. Welcome to Call Me Zena, a true story into the spiritual realms. Join me as I sit and discuss the journey of self-discovery and awakening with the help of my spirit guides. It's time to trust your intuition. This is your inner knowings. Through questions and points of conversation, I can help others feel empowered. With the ability to touch people's past lives, I help others connect and not feel alone. Sit with me and call in live, 888-994-4995. My story starts at 4 or 5 years old. My name is Sally Bernard, and I was born at the end of the Second World War, in the middle of an air raid siren going off. My parents were in a movie theater, and my mother went into labor. My father ran out of the movie theater, but there was no cabs to be available because everybody is running for cover. However, they found one, and the taxi driver was given the address to take my father and my mother to the hospital. As my mother was in labor, about a half an hour, I arrived at exactly midnight. I think I was fed messages at a very early age. My parents used to like to play cards, and they had a card game every Wednesday or Thursday night at home when I was a baby. And I actually said to them one day, why do you keep waking me up at night? The card game is waking me up, and I can't get back to sleep so quickly. And they looked at each other and they said, we're not really waking her up. They were quite away from my bedroom. And they called in a psychic to say, what in the world is going on? And the psychic said that I'm getting many messages that are waking me up at night. I thought whatever I was experiencing, other people were experiencing too. You don't know until you realize that you are different. Many things were happening to me, things that were unexplainable to me. What I had dreamt was happening. I could sense many things, and the things that I was sensing were coming about, but something was going on. I will explain to you everything. You're ready. Hi. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to my show. Okay, as usual, we're going to open this show up for phone calls or anybody in the audience. Please ask me whatever you want to that may be on your mind and you'd like to hear from someone from, I'm going to say, the other side. Please call in if you have any questions at all, 888-994-4995, Studio A. Thank you, and welcome to my show.
Welcome back, Sally.
Hi. Yes.
We have missed having you here.
Thank you. It's always nice to be appreciated, and I feel that I'm home when I'm here.
Do you feel that times are changing and people can talk more about subjects that were taboo before?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, it's coming much more easier to talk about things that we kind of kept very private many years ago. As you saw from my show, I was born at the end of the Second World War, so I'm certainly getting up there in age. And through my generation, a lot of the things we talk to today were taboo, but we bring it out into the forefront, and that's what very, very important.
What are you guys saying is the pulse on what's happening now as we're in 2024? A lot of people are getting sick. There's all different viruses.
Yes, there is. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there are many, many reasons, I guess, for this, and there's a lot of conspiracy theories, quote, but there are a lot of people getting sick today, and unfortunately, it's touched me and my family right now through cancer. I just lost my daughter through cancer, and also people in my family are also getting this. I I'm not sure of the answers of this, and I don't want to scare people, so my show is not to be scared. But there is much more. In fact, it was even on the news the other day how many people, unfortunately, are getting sick at this point in our lives. I believe it's very, very important to remain positive. I think it helps you with everything. It helps you. I'm not going to say it gets rid of illnesses, but it certainly helps to be positive about these things happening.
Are there things that we should be aware of?
Are there, excuse me, I'm sorry, are there more things that we should be aware of? Dawn?
Yes, as things change.
Yes, I think we should be aware of this, and I always talk positivity on my show, as you know, but if you let the negativity of all these things come to you, you know, and I'm very much a believer, it's not just about illness. If we are up to a point, I can't say with everything, but we are at what we think and what we express. So if there's a choice to be negative or positive, let's try to be positive, even in a negative situation. Let's turn it around. I mean, if we can change our thinking, let's try. A very good, not going to say friend, but someone that I used to read a lot about was Wayne Dyer, and he was very much a positive person. And anybody that's suffering or even with depression or illness, I actually suggest read some of what Wayne Dyer wrote. It's very important to be positive. I mean, I talk about that all the time on my show. Obviously, if we're going through things, it becomes harder, but let's try and change this around.
Sally, you know, there's so much negative going on around us right now that you get swept up with what's going on, and you don't think for yourself. You're reacting to other people's emotion. Is that a tendency or a trend that's happening for this year, being that we're at the beginning of the year?
Unfortunately, Freddie, it seems to be that way. I can honestly tell you, even too, it's hit me hard in my life right now. But I know that we have to just think that, you know, I know this is a cliche, but we often say things happen for reasons. And I think I talked about this the other day on my show, if we can take something from a negative situation that's going on in our lives and turn it into a positive, let's turn around and say, well, this is happening to me. Has it happened, a very similar situation before in my life? With what I'm going through many times, I mean, maybe not at this moment, many things keep happening, and I believe, and I'm a great believer in past lives, and I think we have to go through similar situations. The situation around us could be different, but the theme is the same, and turn that into, if we can, into definitely a positive way of thinking. It's very important. No, we can't all do that, and I also can tell you that I don't always do that, but I truly believe it.
But then we have to pick and choose to do this, yes?
Do we have to pick and choose?
To do the right thing, to pick the right thing, not to be influenced by everything and everyone around us?
Yes, we do up to a point, but then again, you know what? We are number one in our lives. So if it's an abusive situation that we're going through, I don't believe that anybody, whatever the situation, should be abused by anybody. So we have to look into our heart with what's going on, but always stand up for yourself the best you can. I'm going to say try to forgive people in your lives, because I can honestly say they know better. They don't know better. And I've had that on and off. It's been a theme in my life, but it's not always easy. But just my words are to try and be positive, even with a very negative situation, because if you're not, the negativity takes over.
So we have to look at the positive light in every situation.
Try. It's not easy, Freddie, and I know that too. And I also know for sure firsthand that it's not easy. But never forget that we can turn a situation around or learn something from a situation. And I'm talking to a lot of people, and there's a lot of people here that are listening, and they're probably saying it's not possible, it's not easy. It's not. And it is possible, though. It is possible. If you feel good about yourself, don't ever forget that you are, and everybody is, and I'm going to say, and this is the words from, I believe, Wayne Dyer too, when I used to read a lot about him, we are number one in our lives. Do not take abuse, do not again, it's many, many factors, but try very hard to see the positivity in whatever your situation is what is going on. There are reasons for that. And you know what? And I had talked about karma last week. If we don't learn from one particular situation, it is going to show itself again. It might be a year, it could be 10 years. It could be in another life. So that's something to think about.
But Sally, why are we listening to the negative feedback that people are using to interpret what they hear? I understand they could be harsh situations, but the feedback, people always saying that you're a failure, or people saying you can't do this or you can't do that. Don't even try. I mean, that's just feedback. That's noise. That's not the reality of what's going on.
That's very true, Freddie. And if people are saying that to you, look within yourself and tell them, no, that's not who I am. Who knows better who you are other than yourself? You know who you are. Each and every one of us knows who we are. But if someone's trying to bring you down and they're giving you all this feedback, don't listen. It's chatter, as you say. You don't believe it. Just don't tell yourself that. That's very important for the person not to tell themselves that. Bring yourself up, look in the mirror and say, you know what, today is a wonderful day, I'm a good person and I'm going to have a great day. Does it always work? No, but at least you're trying. Do we have another question?
Does it make a difference how old you are to try to understand more or less of what you're going through in this lifespan?
No, I think that, if you get past a certain age that you think maybe you're on the other side of your life, you're in the latter part of your life, if you haven't gotten over some of the things that were bothering you in the first part of your life, it'll keep showing up. This, as far as I believe, and not everybody listening may not believe this, but I certainly do, we don't stop when we pass. So these same situations, at the best that I know of what I've learned, will continue. So let's try and get as much as we can in this lifetime. There'll be other things in the next lifetime, but the more and more we grow, we have to experience the pain to get where we are. When we get over that, then we're done with that. And when we, as I believe, we go to another dimension, when we're finished with this level, we're going to get other things. That's what we're here. I truly believe we're here to learn. And we need to pass the test. Let's pass the test and look at the positivity, and it'll be a lot easier. I mean, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm getting the messages from that. I am in some sort of a trance. But I know I forget this sometimes. I have to listen to my show to realize what I'm even saying.
I was going to ask you, as you go through life in this human form and speed bumps happen, how do you continue on your path and stay true to you?
Well, I believe that I'm definitely being guided. I'm going through a slightly difficult time right now with illness, with sickness, with members of my family. Unfortunately, as people know, I lost my daughter a couple of years ago. But I truly believe, and I just had a message from my friend Aldo who passed, who was my guide here. It was the silliest thing, but I needed to hear that. That you have a dice on the table over there. I've never seen it there before. Something said, pick it up. So I picked it up and I said, Aldo, if you're here, show me the 6 on the dice. I did this, I shook it, and what number? You got it, a 6 came up. We are definitely, he's with me, and we're being guided. We're being guided through easy situations. We're being guided through difficult situations. In order for us to understand, I think we truly have to believe it. Even if we really don't, talk to a loved one that's passed, anything, talk in the mirror to yourself and see what happens. Let's see. I did that instantaneously. I know Aldo is there, but he showed me he was here by showing me the 6 as soon as I picked the dice up. We can all do that.
Do you talk to Aldo for guidance?
Absolutely, I do. Recently, I've been talking to him a lot. As he was in this life, I don't always listen, but I am listening, and I know he's here to help me. I know he's with me right now, and I actually said
Making me sneeze.
to Margaret, and I said, I believe Lynn is here. And as I can share again, the other day when I was sitting here, and you know this, I said, I believe Lynn, who passed away, who was my book editor at that time. And I said, I believe he's here. So I said that. And sure enough, Louise, who was his other half basically in business, she called into the show, not knowing I had said that, and never had done that before. And she said, Lynn is here in your show. So, what more validation do we need? I think he's here right now anyway.
When people get sick, and you're going through some things right now, are there messages to learn to stay positive? Is it?
Yes. And I'm telling you this, and I don't always follow what I'm speaking, but I do believe it's extremely important to remain positive. If I succumb to some of the things that are happening to me and I turn it into negatives, and I believe this, more negatives happen. If that's the case, I have to say, I'm above this, whatever is going on in my life, even with sickness. Let's get over this. Let's take one day at a time, and it'll work out okay. Obviously, sometimes what we think is not okay, it really is happening for the best reasons. It's hard to say and hard to understand that, but everything has a place in this world. And if we can understand that, even with sickness, and sometimes the outcome is not always what we want, but that's, as long as you believe, it'll be all right. As far as I know, that's what I'm trying to follow. I'm no different to anybody else. It's not easy. It is not easy, and I'll say that again. But please, and I'm telling myself this, and I will look back on the show and see what I'm saying, please try to remain positive. After all, what does it matter? Let's be positive and not negative. It matters with what's happening, but let's try that. So let's try.
And staying true to yourself, how important is that?
Extremely important, Dawn. I like that too, because we tend to forget that. But even if it upsets other people, it's very, very important to stay true to yourself with what you want. Stand up for your own whatever you're saying. If you believe it, even sometimes you can hurt somebody, but if you're hurting and that person is hurting you, be true to yourself and stand up to what you believe, because it's not easy, but it's going to make you feel better.
But there are certain times people and their energies, and I hate to say their guides on the other side that may not want something positive, affect you.
Well, there's lessons that we have to learn. And if we think back on themes, certain themes that we have in our life, it follows a certain theme. If I have something going on in my life, it might not be the first time this happens. It may be, and I've said this before, a slightly different situation, but the theme is the same. And it will keep repeating itself until we finally say, enough of this, I understand it. And again, and I love the word you said, be true to yourself. Be true to yourself. We don't need to take abuse. We don't need to take any of these things, because if you love yourself or even somebody else, you're not going to do that to someone. So let's not do it to ourselves.
Well, let me ask you, when you're caring for somebody else who's ill, like my mom is right now in the hospital, and my parents have things that they want in their life. Now, I may not think that's the best situation, but they are choosing that for them.
Well, we don't always know what's going on in other people's lives. So whatever they're choosing, and remember, that's their choice. And that's very important to remember that. So if you don't necessarily like what someone's doing, and we all have that, it's like, and I'm going to say this, unfortunately, I do remember saying to you, butt out. And I mean that in the nicest possible way, Dawn, okay? Does that make sense to you?
It does.
Let them get on. I'm not saying that particular situation, but having said what you said, I'm bringing it up. Let people get on with their lives. We don't have to always follow what they're saying. We don't have to like what they're saying, but that's okay. That's okay. We're not all made the same. So whatever they're doing, or anybody, I'm not particularly just your question of who you were talking about, your parents necessarily, but that applies with anybody. Let them do what they want. Let's do what we want. Love ourselves, and a lot of things will fall into place. Not easy to do, but wake up in the morning, look in that mirror, and say, I love you, talking to yourself. It works a little bit. I'm trying.
It looks a little, try that, Sally.
I am trying, okay? And I'm telling everybody else, first thing in the morning, when you get up, look at yourself and say, I love myself. I'm going to have a wonderful day. If you do that often enough, you'll see things will change.
I'll definitely try that tomorrow.
Please do. Okay, please do. It's very, and not just when you wake up, at any time during the day.
I understand that.
Anytime.
You've got to be, whatever you do, you've got to be positive to yourself as well as anybody else.
Don't let anybody bring you down. Because if you do, you're not being true to yourself, are you? You're not, they're going to bring you down with them. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Whatever it takes. Sing a song. I'm not good at singing, but maybe I'll try that.
But it's true. And why do you find negative energies can pull you down easier than positive energies can bring you up?
Because we allow it. And if we hear a negative about ourselves or about anything that we're doing, we actually, and you know what? I think everybody does this. You always, unfortunately, remember the negative of things. You can say, I was having a wonderful time, and then somebody said this to me, no matter what it is. Maybe you're at a party. You're having a wonderful time, and then one person can upset you. And many years later, when you talk about it, guess what you'll remember about that party? Not, or anything, not the wonderful things that were happening, that one or two negativity things. I mean, everybody will tell you that. Let's change that. Remember all the good things in our lives.
So I think we should start a campaign as we go into February with you to only do the good things, to remember the good, hang on to the positive.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we forget that, but let's all, how we can help one another with this? When someone that you love or you care about or a friend, and they start getting negative, turn around and say, come on, let's see what's positive in your life. Because if you don't, and they continue with the negativity, it's going to bring you both down. That's not good.
No, and positivity can feed positivity.
Absolutely.
That should be a new campaign with Zena for the month of February. Every day is going to be a positive quote from Zena.
Absolutely. I mean, even if you have to write down what you want to say to yourself, it doesn't necessarily, just say, I'm going to have a good day today. And then mark all the things down or tell yourself what you would like to happen during the course of the day. Keep track of that. You might see a difference, a big difference. I have to remember, I'm no different to anyone that I'm talking to that's negative right now. I also have negativity. But I'm very hard on myself because I feel like I should know better because I've been talking about this for years. Whatever it is, pick up anything or someone that you care about and is positive, give them a call and say, please help me with my positivity today. Anything. Do it. It works.
And what do my guides have to say today, other than butt out?
I hated to say that to you again. Okay, follow your intuition, Dawn, as I have often told you. But don't also let situations, circumstances, and things around you pull you down. Because you do, as I do, and as everyone in the studio knows, you know better. Love yourself. You can listen to other people's, quote, what we would say, stuff, but you don't have to let it, it's good to listen. It's good to be a good listener, but don't take it in. And this is very much for you right now. Stop taking everybody's stuff. I'd like to use another word, but I'm not going to.
Yep.
In, okay? Stop it. And I mean that in the nicest possible way.
Truth.
It's important right now. Because you know what? If it affects you, it's not going to help the other person, whoever it is in your life. So as long as you remain as best you can with your own point of view that is positive, don't let this around you bring you down. Make sense to you?
100%.
Good.
Yeah, my mom is in in rehab. She broke her hip.
I'm sorry.
So it makes a whole lot of sense.
Well, okay, I wish her well, first of all, and I hope she recovers soon from this. But you know what? We don't know what people are going through, be it a broken hip, be it anything, or a loss of a loved one sometimes. So we have to show compassion. But don't get always caught up in that compassion, because if you're strong with whatever the situation is with somebody, it helps. Even if you think that you're being a little bit too strong with them, do what you feel is right, because it can pull someone out of that situation. I wish her well. Again, I wish her well.
Thank you.
Sally, I might as well ask you, what did my guides tell you today?
What are your guides telling me about you?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I actually got this message for you a couple of days ago, Freddie, and it's okay. Totally go with your intuition with people that you may, and no, I'm not going to mention, or I don't even know in particular situation, but I think you will know about this. You're being led in one direction. Again, no names, nothing. This is for you. Of something that you don't feel 100% comfortable with. That's the word they're telling me. Tell him to tell him he's uncomfortable. Your intuition is correct. So there is something going on with a person. I don't know, and I'm not giving the name, and if I did, or a situation where it involves actually not just one person, 3 or 4 different people, okay? If you're uncomfortable, you have to voice your opinions, okay? It's very important. Even with what it is that you're doing right now with these people and they back out, that's okay too. Without knowing the whole situation, follow your gut instinct. Excuse me, sorry. That means they're here with me.
But the object of the game here is, I'm in a business where it's never comfortable.
Where what?
It's never comfortable.
Okay.
That doesn't give me a resolution. I mean, you know, I'm in a business that it takes chances. It goes in 27 different directions. You don't like everybody you meet. That's a given.
But this is
That's not what she said.
and I agree with you, Freddie, and I know what you're saying. But I think you'll know when, or if it's already happened, this particular situation, okay? Does that help you a little bit? Where you're feeling, let's say, a little more uncomfortable? Go with caution. I'm not telling you to even stop, but go with caution. Make sure all the, as they say, the dots are covered. Is that right?
The T's are crossed and the dots.
Perfect.
Want to take a commercial break? Want to
Yes.
take a commercial break?
Okay. I'll see you on the other side of this commercial, not on the other side of the This world, this life, this illusion. What is going on, we ask? What is happening? Why not take time and see what is happening? This world as we know it, it seems so real and yet so far away from where we've come. Corruption, greed, anger, power, revenge. Please wake up. We can change what is around us. How, we may ask? Learn to go back to where we were. Then we will have the clues. Then we can change and go forward. Please take the time. Do not fall into the game which we have put upon ourselves. We can change. We can make a difference. We have the power, each and every one of us. Go in peace. Go with love. Go as one. Zena.
A true story, Call Me Zena, is the telling of Sally Bernard. Born in London, England at the end of the Second World War, she came to the U.S. in 1979. A mother of 2 and grandmother of 4, she settled in Florida and worked in real estate. While going through a difficult time in her life, she was admitted into a hospital overnight in December of 2005. While settling back into her life, she began having vivid dreams and documenting them. By the 3rd dream, a lady gave her a message to draw. With no artistic background or interest in art or history, Sally listened to her dreams and grabbed paper and crayons. Today, she has over 150 pieces of inspiring art and poetry. This book follows her journey and interpretations of these messages. She describes in detail how she's able to astral project and who she has met along her travels, including her spirit guides. This book will show you how anything is possible with an open mind. These events have changed Sally's life's direction, and this book will show you how to change yours. Purchase Call Me Zena on Amazon today.
You have been watching Call Me Zena with your host, Sally Bernard. As an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer, know that you could always seek me out for resources. Visit artbysallybernard.com today. Now, back to the show. Hi, I'm back. Freddie, are you still in? You're sitting there, Rain?
I'm sitting here.
Okay, I need, because they spoke to me a lot during the last few minutes. I just want to finish what we were actually talking about. Again, I'm not mentioning names, I'm not even getting a name. But if you're doing something and someone's telling you this is what they want to do, and I understand you meet many, many people and you have to take risks just with anything else, but even more so with what you're doing. If obstacles, they're telling me to tell you this, if obstacles keep coming in the way of this situation that you're doing, take a good look at this, because the way that you can figure this out is if there's, with anybody in life, but in your particular situation, if everything is not moving forward, that this is coming from them, the way that you want it to, please step back from this situation and say, you know what, this is not working out. It may be hard for you to say that because you have a different point of view, but if you continue and it's still more obstacles, please think twice about this. I hope that makes sense to you.
It does, but then that puts me at a position where if I were to do that, I wouldn't be in business for the last 18, entering my 19th year.
This is just this one, not everything.
But this, it goes with everything. It goes with relationships. It goes with business decisions. It goes with picking who your friends are.
Okay, I'm not saying, yes, and we all have to make decisions, but this, I'm just talking about one particular thing. I'm not even sure what it is. There is something, or maybe it hasn't happened yet. There is something that you may feel, forget everybody else, because yes, we all have to, if you want to take a gamble in life. But this particular one, and you'll know it, whether it's happened or is going to happen, this is one particular one, not everything. So many obstacles, and you think everything's going correct, and it could be actually 6 months from now, I don't know. But please, all I'm saying, yes, we have to trust. But in this situation, if it keeps reoccurring and you have a deadline for something and it's still not happening, without going into this deeply, just remember my words. It could be even a year from now, I don't know. Yes, we all have to take gambles, otherwise what is life all about?
She described my life.
Huh?
You described my life.
Okay. Well, we have to change something, Freddie.
Well, yeah, you know, the problem is that sometimes the change is worse than the cure.
But ultimately, the decision that you make, as long as you feel and things, it doesn't have to be all at once, everything is A-okay with any situation. It takes time and change. But follow your own gut, and I always say this, and it sounds cliche, but you have the answers. You are being guided. I'm just talking, and I need to tell you this again, about one particular situation. You can always ask me if you think maybe this was the one. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. But even ask yourself, and you'll get your answer.
Sally, I know you told me I had a guide. Oh. You've always told me I had a guide, but I've never questioned anything about this person. Do you have anything you can tell me?
Margaret, you have several guides. And actually, you also, as you know, you have your husband. He's always with you in the other, let's say, on the other side. You also have Aldo, my guide. He's got your back, okay?
I've got the goose pimples already.
Yeah, you always say that when I mention Aldo, and you know he knew you very well and loved you, Margaret. So he's got your back. But you have other guides too, okay? Maybe not that you know who they are from this lifetime, but we have guides from other lifetimes. We don't always come in the same time with our guides, but they're there around you. Don't just have two, you have many.
I was
We
there
all
when
do.
I was there when you found out about your previous life. Is there anything that you can tell me that I may have had?
In a previous lifetime? Well, I'm going to go with something I believe that Aldo said, and it's coming to me when he was around, when he was in this life with us. He said something about you looked, I believe, this is what I'm getting, and maybe he's telling me this, you did look after many children. Did he mention anything about that to you?
I can't remember.
I think he did. Either you had a lot of children or you were taking care of a lot of children.
Yeah, I think
Is
I
that
do
necessarily going to help you in this life? I don't think so. But you were a very caring person.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do slightly remember it now.
He's telling me that. Tell her about the kids
Yeah.
in other lifetimes, not necessarily the ones in this lifetime, okay?
Oh, thank you.
I
Okay.
have a question about
Yes.
my guide.
Hi, Sandy.
Do I have a guide? Everybody has a guide.
Uh,
How do I know my guide?
You do. Everybody has a guide, and you know that too. Okay? Just talk, and the name may appear. You can. We're good friends. Call me up and say so and so. I don't know who it was. Gave me a message right now. You have guides, Sandy. Okay? So just know that they are around you. Talk to them, even if you don't know the names. Okay? Just say, hey, I want to have a message from you. Show me a sign. As I just did, and I know Aldo's with me, but I still had to ask him if he was here. Gave me the answer, which he does very often. If it's just something I ask him and I turn the TV on, I'll get my answer. On the computer, same.
Well, I talked to Robbie.
I was going to bring him up. I don't know if you wanted me to mention that. Yes, he's
Yes.
absolutely around you 100%.
So is he my guide?
Well, he's one of your guides. He wasn't while he was here on this earth. He wasn't, but when he transitioned, yes, he became a guide to you. I think he was very advanced. I'm getting goosebumps, and I think I told you this when he passed. I don't know if I told you this, and I'm getting goosebumps. He is around you, okay? He absolutely understands you 100%, okay? So he's helping you with all these things that are going on. Just know and talk to him, please, Sandy. I don't know if you want me to mention who he was to you in this life.
Sure.
Yeah, this was your son that passed, okay? So he is with you. He has never left you. His presence is very much in your life. And he came to you very quickly. If you remember, he came to me shortly after he passed. And Margaret, I don't know if you remember this, but I believe you do, Sandy.
Yes.
I was driving my car, and he's like, sorry,
And you
driving the
never
car.
know. That was amazing.
Go to my mom. I have some messages, right? So my car took you. I think it wasn't quite that day, the next day.
Next day.
And I gave you some messages and even his picture. We couldn't find it, if you remember. This sticks out in my mind. We're looking everywhere. I left it. Was right under my chair, right?
Right?
There you go. How much more proof you know he's with you, okay? Absolutely.
Thank you.
And I don't remember some of these things. That stayed very much in my mind when you just brought that up.
Thank you.
Sally, how do we utilize our past life experiences in this life?
Well, again, we don't always remember our past lives, but with anything else, a situation or something may come up. You have to think about this. I get situations and circumstances, but I know I've been lucky enough to remember or have help with me remembering some of my previous lives. I only remember a couple, and I had a lot with Aldo's help, plus I was drawing from previous lives. So I started to listen. The same, of course, if you don't remember, you don't know it's the same situation that's coming up. But if something keeps coming up and it's bothering you, the best thing is to try and get rid of it the best you can, okay? Because it might be left over from another lifetime. There are people, there are therapists, there are people that will regress you into other lives. So if something keeps showing up and you believe this, because you have to believe it, go to someone that will hypnotize you and take you back into previous lives. And that will help with the situation.
Do you feel that when you go through life knowing who you were in a past life, that you've got a greater responsibility in this life? You know, they say, to whom much is given, much as required.
Yeah, I think so, because you know what? If we don't necessarily get rid of it, and again, this is just my belief, but I believe this very much, and Aldo told me this too, I believe, that it will keep reoccurring. They're here, because I'm going to sneeze again, I think. So if we're lucky enough to keep and begin to recognize this, maybe we can get that situation, whatever it is, done. And then we can move on with the next situation. We only graduate, as best I know, from this particular dimension when we're done with all the things that we need to get done with. Now, it doesn't end there, because we go to another dimension after here and we get other things and then other, and we continue going until we finally have that graduation day when we're done. I don't know, and I've said this before, beyond that, I don't know what happens.
Well, let me ask you, what do you see happening for the studio in the next coming months?
Good. And I mean, if I didn't feel that, I wouldn't necessarily say that, but I always say that. I feel that a lot of new things are happening. And I know Freddie is still here. Yes, you have to take chances, opportunities, but if it begins to move forward quickly, because you're getting a lot of, as I feel, new people coming in. Not everyone, it's just like with anything else, is going to be beneficial. But go with the ones, beginning to say this again, that seem to be running smoothly, that may have the same ideas of you. Because if you don't, and you're getting, like, I'm going to say, people beginning to say, no, I don't feel comfortable with that, that's okay. Not everybody who comes in is going to be good for the studio. But I feel all good things are going to happen, absolutely. I told you I feel that you're going to expand.
More to come.
Expand doesn't mean it's going to be good, but okay.
Okay, Freddie, expanding is good if you feel that it's good. Let's begin to see that expanding is good, because I feel that it is. No, it may not always be, or the timing. Okay, I'm going to go with this, because I really don't have a magic wand that's going to say it's all going to be okay. You're going to get problems. But if you feel good about it, I feel, and I don't have a time frame on that, that you're gonna not outgrow the studio, you're gonna expand the studio, so you're outgrowing this small space. I feel that you may either go next door or even up if you're able to, I don't know. But you'll see that. Hopefully I'm still around to see it, I don't know. If not, I'll help you from the other side. Getting older. Does that help you a little bit?
Everything is helpful.
Please
You know,
say yes. Please say yes. Okay.
I cannot say yes simply because it hasn't unfolded yet. You know, it doesn't. Sometimes I look at what's going on around me, and there are mixed signs. Things look like it's going to advance. You meet new people. There are new challenges, and then those that have been assigned to do these challenges don't show up. Today on the show itself, I had 1, 2, 3 people that has said, 4 people that has said they're going to show up, and you never know when. It isn't that they don't, it's that you never know when, and this business is timing.
Actually, one of my answers to that is people will fall away if it's not where you're meant to be doing. Excuse me. They're with me again. If someone says they're going to be here and they have all good ideas and they don't show up, then it wasn't their time. The ones that matter will be here. They will give you, and you will give them advice, and you will follow it. That's how we know the difference. The ones that don't show up, they weren't meant to be here in the first place. Happens every time.
But they do, Sally, they do show up. They just show up 2, 3, 4 weeks later.
Oh, that's not right.
When you least expect it. But you know, the nature of the beast of this business is that you try to grow the business by distributing what you have, your assets, among the community. And the community, sometimes they're caught up in COVID, or they're caught up in this and this and this and that. It makes it very difficult. So you have to double book. Sometimes there are 8 people when there should have been 4. Sometimes you anticipate having more help than you get. And it just, you know, it's a constant battle to get from point A to point B.
Okay, it may manifest or show itself more in what you're doing, because you're bringing people into the studio, and some people come in, some people don't. It may be different to some of the things. Well, look at the problems I've had with my book. If you take that, timing has a very important role. There is no time on the other side, but things have to come together. When they're ready, it will happen. People will come when they're meant to be here. I've had a lot of, unfortunately, with my book, a few people have passed away. There's nothing I can do about that. I'm not saying it wasn't the time, but we all have to come together with certain situations. And when that happens, it flows. It flows. Sometimes there's difficulty in the beginning, and I'm going to go back. It's not always the right time. Maybe showing itself 6 months later. That may be the right time. So, I mean, I feel bad about what's happened with my book. And Lynn, I loved him. I believe he's still working from the other side. But Gina, who's taken over my book today, who was doing the movie, is now writing the book. And I see now, not to have, this is nothing against Lynn, but he's not around, that it's very good. It's working out for me because not only is he writing my movie, he's writing the book, which makes it easier for him too. So it shows itself in many different ways. I've waited a long time for this to be done. And, you know, we can get impatient. But ultimately, what happens after everything, we can look back on anything and say, oh, that's why there was a delay, or that's why it moved forward quickly. There are reasons, let's say, working behind the scenes. We're not always aware of that. So, no, it's not easy. And they used to say, and still do, anything that's worth it is going to be a little bit of a battle. We do. We all have. Nothing runs smoothly. But just know, I truly believe that your cafe here, with the people that are coming in, I'm going to say 80% of the people, it's positive. Just be a little aware, and I'm not mentioning because I don't know who, of that other 20% when it's just not working out. Maybe not the first, second, or third, but maybe on the fifth try. So this is not working out. Think about that. I don't have all the answers, Freddie. I don't know. It's happened to me many times too, but I'm aware of that.
Hi, Sally. How's it
Hi,
going?
Josh. Okay, how's it going with you?
It's pretty good.
Good.
I just want to know if my guides, any angels, any things trying to tell me to help me clear my path for this next coming week, I should say.
They're working overtime.
Yeah, they
Okay,
are.
okay, that's what they want me to tell you. Just never lose your faith in the fact that they are around you. And it goes the same as what I'm actually telling Freddie. If things are not working out, they're working for you. I'm going to say behind the scenes. So be aware of that. One or two things that you're doing are going to be great. There is one or two obstacles there, okay? Not with the two that are going great, but I'm going to say with the two obstacles. Only you know the answer to that too, but that's what I'm hearing. So you know what? If that's not the time for that, put it aside. It may be the time in a year, but you have two good situations coming up.
You're pretty good. Well, I had to take care of one situation this past weekend to focus mainly on two things, work and school.
There you go.
So I'm guessing after that it should, I don't want to say smooth sailing because obviously school is still stressful, work is still a lot to do. But is there anything else that I should be more aware of?
No, because that was the validation for that, the fact that I said to, you're on the right path, Josh. Don't put too many things ahead of you. Concentrate on what's working for you right now. The rest can still happen, but the time is with the two that you see right now. It's very important that you concentrate on that because you've got people helping you with that.
Okay. And I know, Freddie, you and Freddie were talking about this because he wants to see the cafe build or see AMP Media build, and I want to see it as well, too. How can this building that we're in, how can we make it feel more alive?
Okay, vibrational energy. I mean, I know, I can just take me and when I come into this cafe, I can be having a difficult time with something. The moment I come in, and it's so important, I feel lifted, and Margaret can tell you that too. So just lift your spirits around here. And having said that, it's going to attract that higher vibrational of people coming into the cafe. Because if you're sitting here and everything goes, nothing is going plain sailing. But we can get upset about certain things and say, oh, I'm having a really bad day because this is happening not the way that I wanted. Try and focus on the things that have already happened, maybe in the beginning of the day. And I've seen it happen with me. I've been here over a year now. I have brought people in that are like-minded, and you've all seen that. Am I always up? Absolutely no. But when I come in here, I know that's where I should be. And for some reason, it happens to me. Margaret, you can attest to that today, right? Wasn't in the best of moods. I walk in and I change. It's not just me. We can all do that. And we'll attract the right people.
I like that. Awesome. Thank you.
Is Freddie still here?
He's still
Good.
back there
Okay.
somewhere.
Just wanted to see your intake on that.
Is this a fresh comment? All right, we have a comment actually from Steve. Oh, no, go back to the other one real quick. Let me see if I can read it. All right, you ready? Sally, it's from Steve. It says, I've been trying to contact the Beyond every day to help me deal with an issue unrelated to health that's affecting my daily life, and I can get no response at all. Is there any other way that I can try to contacting who might be my guide so that I can get a direction on how to handle this issue?
Well, you have me, so I can try and contact the guy. Just to say that is my husband.
Yeah.
But, okay, we all have situations. Just follow what, I'm lost track of the question a little bit. Maybe because it was Steve.
Is there another way where I can contact my guide?
Yes, by talking to basically your guides and asking for assistance. If you heard the beginning of the show when I asked Aldo if he was here because I wanted him here today, and I rolled that dice and I said, show me the number 6, and it came up. It's not just me. You can do the same thing. So go ahead, talk to your guides. You don't have to talk with me in the room. Basically, you will get some answers, be it something like Aldo shows me, just something I pick up or something I see on the internet. Never lose faith. That's the most important. Know that they are around us. And whatever we're going through, tough or even pleasant, it's a situation that we need to follow. We need to think more about it. Even if something is going all good, don't take that for granted. Continue to have gratitude for the good that comes in. Of course, he's not here to answer, so I have to find that out later.
I guess let's see what he writes back in.
Oh, good.
We'll see. We're going to check it out and see. Yeah, it's on.
I've been doing that, but getting no response. I need another way to try.
Okay, this is a difficult question. Just
It's a
here,
little
you
difficult.
don't get, I mean, they're not going to show themselves to you, okay? But I'm making light of that, but just listen, ask the questions and listen. Turn on the internet, do something, and maybe you'll get an answer. It's not necessarily instantaneous, but you have to believe that and know, and most important, bring up your spirit. Be positive. Stop saying, not you personally, anybody, this is going wrong, that's going wrong, that's going wrong. We're bringing in all these things that are going wrong. Let's say that we get an answer to something and it's pretty good for the first time that we've asked. Oh, that's great, thank you. Now what else is going to happen that's good? Because if we don't do that, more and more stuff is going to happen, good or bad. That's what I figured out. Anyway,
But Sally, when all this stuff snowballs on you, it's really difficult to be able to separate the good from the bad. How do you do that?
Okay, yeah, it is. It's difficult because we don't, sometimes bad things happen, but they're happening for a reason, and suddenly we don't always know. Because sometimes, let's say somebody comes into your life, or a situation here at the cafe that you think may be good, but it all goes wrong. And again, you know, there's reasons for everything. So something going wrong, we need to change. Change is important. People say, I don't like change, but change that situation and say, you know what, maybe I can turn this into a positive. We can try, and if it doesn't work, forget it. It's a negative.
Sally, you've got a lot of write-ins here. The heart painter, Evelyn Balin, wants to know, how can she move through the stresses that she feels?
Hi, Marita.
Evelyn.
Oh, Evelyn, I saw Marita.
Marita was someone else. She says trust, I guess, in the process.
Yeah, thank you, Marita. Just to answer Marita, she did come back on the screen. Yes, trust is very, very important. She's a very good friend of mine, Marita, and you know that. We've talked about that many times on phone calls. Trusting is very important. Thank you for calling in. And now we'll go to...
Evelyn.
Evelyn said...
How can she needs to know how to move through the stresses that she feels.
Okay, you have to go through them. Just again, and as Marita just called in the question of trust your instinct, trust that, because whatever we're going through, it's showing itself because it's important. So we have to move through it. We may not always like it in the beginning, but don't just say, I'm done with that, put it on the back burner. Continue to go through it, and hopefully it'll turn into more of a positive.
And then she wants to know, how can she be of value to the cafe?
How can she?
Be of value to the cafe.
Be of value?
The heart painter, yes.
Oh, okay. Just your presence here. I know you. I've seen your artwork. It's unbelievable. It's beautiful. And it's funny, actually, and Marita, if you're still listening too, my friend Marita is everything. She draws hearts. It's love. You two are connected. I'm feeling that because it's your first time, Marita, for calling in, and you don't often call in the heart painter. Follow that love that you both have. Marita is an artist, you're an artist. That's not coincidence. Follow this love. Put as many, your heart painter, put love out there, both of you. Follow that path. It's brightening up people's lives. Oh my gosh, it came to me. That's beautiful.
Maybe we do a love podcast.
Lovely. I love that. I love that. Absolutely. You don't necessarily have to be in the studio. We can call in and just with the two of you, we can do a love podcast because it's important.
And Steve, I think Josh mentioned this, said he's been doing that, but he's not getting a response. He needs to try another way. Well, is there another way, or do you just keep on trying and trying to read the signs?
Well, if your way isn't working, I would say change your way. But maybe there's a reason why it's not working, as I think I had said earlier in the show. I don't always remember what I talked about. Because if you keep getting obstacles in your path and you're aware of this, give it up. I hate to say that, but if it's not working and it keeps not working, give it up. And I'm going to use the word whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. But if it keeps going wrong, then I think maybe you should try a year from now. There is no time on the other side, but I'm not saying give it up completely, but maybe that's not the time in your life right now for without, I don't know the situation, but with whatever situation, the timing isn't right on that particular situation, no matter what it is.
The heart painter says wonderful.
Thank you very much. Come into the studio. I'd love to see you.
And Tracy Latome says hello.
Hi,
She
Tracy.
says hi, friends.
Hi.
And Sally, are you doing private readings?
Yes, I am doing private readings.
Do you want people to book it through the studio?
Absolutely, yes, if that's all right. I feel the vibrational energy in this studio is very high. So call into the studio, or again, you'll have to give my email out because I have the telephone number here. Definitely, and we can arrange it here.
So call in, or to book anything, 888-994-4995, Studio A. And Sally is available for private readings and also for past lives. Sally?
Yes, I can do past life readings too, absolutely. Yes, I'd be happy to, because I feel that the energy here is going to attract so much. It's happened for me, and it's happened for people that have walked in here. So let's do the readings if that's fine with you here in the studio.
Josh, maybe you were a famous musician in a past life. Maybe you were a famous musician in a past life. Huh?
I hope so. I wish I was a famous musician in this life.
Ah, there we are. You will be a famous musician if
thank
you
you.
need it.
Thank you.
And you want to believe that and you really want that, follow your dream, Josh. I don't think you're going to go wrong with whatever you decide, but you're at a crossroad right now. So go very much with what you're really, really wanting to do.
You should see the crossover because my music skills and talents are diminishing so bad. I can see it happening.
Well, maybe that's your thinking because I don't really believe that. I mean, I know you believe it. I know it's happening, but I think you can change that. Absolutely can change that. I feel very, I'm going to say connected with this, and I think that you have a very strong personality of what you believe. So never let it bring you down if something isn't going right. Follow. You're still young. You have a whole lot ahead of you, but you will succeed with what you want to do. Definitely.
I mean, I guess I can put a little input to these things as well too. Ever since high school, I've known what I've wanted to do. Even my dad has an engineering path. My mom has a path into water management, but that's just the stuff I've never seen myself doing. So I always wanted to do what I wanted to do.
Continue with that thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, I hope your parents aren't listening, but that's okay.
Yeah, I don't care if they are.
That's
They know what I
all
want to
right.
do.
But you do what you want to do, okay?
Yeah, sweet. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Are you ready to wrap this up, Sally?
Yes, thank you everybody for listening, and thank you for calling in, and I'll see you this time, well, 2:30 to 3:30 next Monday. Thank you. Have a wonderful week. Coincidence or not, it's time to trust your intuition and knowings. Thank you for joining me through this journey of self-discovery and awakening with the help of my spirit guides. I'm Sally Bernard, and you can find my book, artwork, and contact through artbysallybernard.com. Join us next week. This has been Call Me Zena.